Welcome to our podcast, Parenting by the Pint. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, Minivan Mafia. Lauren and I are longtime friends from Chicagoland that love getting together to chat about life, kids, family, and beer.
Each week, we'll feature a brewery and sample at least 2 of their beers.
We'll also discuss a variety of topics ranging from parenting, pop culture, travel, marriage, and just about anything else that comes to mind. Welcome, everybody, to another episode. This one... they're all special, aren't they?
They are all special.
Right?
I agree. In their own way, just like our children.
Yeah.
You're all special in your own way.
That's 100% true. So, yeah, just like all of our other episodes, this one is very special, but it's special in a different way because we're going to drink non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, this is a first.
Yeah, I don't recall exactly when we were inspired to do a non-alcoholic beer episode, but I do remember the first time I was deceived into drinking one.
Ooh.
Which, of course, is how it went.
Totally
I
how
didn't
it went, 'cause
plan
you weren't
or
picking it.
expect
Yeah.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
certainly not.
No.
I mean, I have reasons for drinking, and one of them
Is for the alcohol. Yeah.
is the alcohol.
No, I get it.
100%.
Totally. Yeah.
So my husband puts this, I think it was called a dark brew, in the refrigerator from Untitled Art. And it's not the one that we are going to drink from Untitled Art. It is a different one. But he pours it. I never saw the can or anything. He just like pours
it in a
finger
cup.
quotes, a beer for me. And I drink it. And I'm just like, this tastes like burning. Why does it taste like burning? What is happening? And he's just like, oh, it's non-alcoholic. And I was just like,
But why
did you give this to me? Is there calories in this? Am I drinking
Am I
calories?
wasting this? Yeah.
I could be
wasting
eating a
calories.
Hershey bar right now, and you gave me this pile of garbage.
Yeah, that's true.
What?
That's fair.
Now, there was nothing wrong,
No, but
with
it was not what
the
you
brew.
expected.
but it's
So.
hard to get past that once you realize it. And I think that's probably why he didn't want to tell me what it was. Because I
fair.
think he wanted me to just go in
Just
blind.
see what you thought of it. Yeah.
Which isn't unreasonable.
No, when I first think of non-alcoholic beer, the only thing that comes to mind is O'Doul's, because my uncle used to drink
Right?
O'Doul's.
Yeah.
And that to me is like the thing associated with non-alcoholic beer in my head.
And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have any of that.
We're not drinking O'Doul's.
No,
but
that's not the route that we went.
No.
Since we are going to have a handful of these because it's not like we're going to get drunk.
Right.
Let's open the first one here. So,
Cool.
Speak of the devil, we're going to drink an Untitled Art.
Untitled Art
Brew.
actually makes a handful of non-alcoholic.
Yes, which we are also going to discover because we will drink another one.
2 of them.
But we're going to drink a Watermelon Ghost.
Yeah.
We're going to start there.
I'm actually intrigued by this.
Yeah, I kinda am too.
Right. We've got so we have 4 that we're going to drink. We've got 2 from Untitled Art, Lagunitas, and 1 from Well-Being, which Well-Being is from St. Louis. And all 3 of these breweries, actually, they've done a bunch of different, like, the best non-alcoholic beers. And all 3 of them have been repeatedly on lists that make some of the best tasting non-alcoholic beers.
Okay.
So we shall see. We will evaluate.
I have heard that about Untitled Art. I forgot that Lagunitas had a non-alcoholic beer, which I have off and on been reminded, but
Sure. It's
Not
not like
in the
you're
immediate-
not often buying it, so.
exactly.
Yeah, I had never
So.
heard of Well-Being before, but again,
No,
they were
me
on
neither.
the list, and I picked it up at my local bottle shop with all the other regular beers. So these I picked up just at Open Bottle, I think, or something like
okay.
that. So they had a handful of non-alcoholics there.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I just remembered one of the things that I recall when we first started talking about doing this episode. I went to Workforce Brewing in Plainfield.
Okay.
And was talking to the bartender, and asked if they had a non-alcoholic beer
Oh.
because you and I had like kind of initiated
Briefly
the
talked about it, yeah.
conversation. This was a while ago though.
Mhm.
But and he told me that there is going to be a brewery in Naperville that is going to
Oh.
be all non-alcoholic
Really
beer.
interesting. So I'll get into the background of non-alcoholic beer in a minute, but there's been some market studies done that said essentially by like 2024 they're gonna be the market for non-alcoholic beverages, these types of beverages, is going to double.
Oh.
So actually, just in 2021 alone, non-alcoholic beer sales worldwide went up 29%.
Whoa.
So there's a huge push. Like there's a ton of places that obviously craft breweries are now joining in on this trend. The Middle East is like 30% of the total sales. Iran, places like that, because the law is that you cannot consume or purchase alcohol.
Right.
So, but there's still a social aspect to it, so it's as if they're drinking. So there's a huge market there for it. Spain is one of the largest of the European nations that is purchasing it, and then the U.S. and the U.K. are also significantly increasing. So one of these non-alcoholic beers that maybe not this one, but there was one of them that I saw there that had actually won a UK beer award for the taste of it.
interesting.
Maybe it was another one. But so I was like, that's
yeah.
super interesting that it actually won a world beer award in the UK. And it's not actually beer. I mean, it's non-alcoholic beer. So there's definitely a market for it, and people are buying it. And so, I mean, if people are buying it, people will make it.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and because I'm sorry, guys.
I hear it.
Why is it
but-
every time we drink anything other than beer, I just have a problem with it? It's not true, because I actually thought the tea was good. The
I
hard
thought the tea was
really
good.
liked.
I think we should do a mead episode at some point.
Ugh.
There's some other things.
I'll try that.
You should try it. There's lots of different kinds.
I've had
Seltzer
good
was
mead.
the only negative. It just tastes like radio static, so I can't get behind
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
But
That's a perfect explanation.
but I think I can at least try. There's even that we're drinking tonight. There's at least 4 different styles of non-alcoholic beer.
That's true. I'm actually
They're all
really
different.
excited about this watermelon ghost, so let's give it a taste, because
It smells like summer.
it sounds appealing when I read the words on the can.
It's super tasty. I mean, like, this is super tasty drink.
Oh, yeah, this is
Like,
good.
It tastes really good. So
I mean-
I'd pour some vodka in it maybe, but it tastes really good.
Yeah, or champagne. Oh, that
Yes.
might be too much bubbles, but I don't know, maybe not. Is there such a thing?
No, I think
Not when you
but
love
this
bubbles.
is actually really tasty. Like I get that it's not alcoholic, but it's a tasty beverage.
Yeah, I could drink this.
I could
You
drink
know, like
this.
this is a poolside
I
beer.
could drink
You
this by
could
the pool,
Drink
for
this
sure.
by the pool, if you're trying to come down from being too drunk.
Yeah, like if I drank too many IPAs and now it's like I'm still thirsty, but I need to not drink the alcohol, this is a perfect substitute for that.
Yeah,
So I think
this is pretty good.
the
Yeah,
flavor's pretty tasty.
I mean, I'm not sure if I could tell the difference between this and like a comparable Izzy water.
Right? I don't know if I could.
You
It's
know?
very because it's got the bubbles. It's got. I don't know. It's as a beverage, it's very tasty. So I'm down with this one.
I get watermelon. I
Yeah.
get lime, which
Yeah.
it says it has lime. Let's not drop this can on the floor.
Let's try not to.
And sea salt.
It's
I get a little bit of that maybe in the aftertaste.
Yeah, in the aftertaste
It's
a
pretty
little.
subtle though, because I think the watermelon and the lime are really strong in
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So-
but it's a great combination of flavors. Like this
Yeah.
is super summery to me. So, all right, well, we'll drink the next one in a
I'll
sec. But yeah,
marinate
this
on
is
that.
pretty good. I can get down with this. So, non-alcoholic beer technically still has 0.5% ABV.
Okay.
So it's not zero alcohol. It's just incredibly
So I can't
low.
give this to my kids. I mean, well, you could.
I
but
mean, you can.
could
You
argue
don't need to be.
shouldn't,
You don't need
but-
to be 21 to purchase it in some states. In some
Okay.
states, even if there is 0.5%, you still need to be 21. But in a number of states, you could buy this just without being
Okay.
21. So they might sell it to your kid.
Not in Illinois.
No, probably not.
We're too strict
Yeah.
for stuff like that.
But so non-alcoholic beers really date back a very long time. So it dates back to like medieval Europe. And the reason that is because it was a safer alternative to water, because water had parasites and was often polluted. And if non-alcoholic beer goes through a brewing process and gets rid of a lot of bacteria and things like that. So, and it's cheaper than an ale to drink. So this was something that's been around for a very long time because people didn't die from drinking it, and it still tasted like something.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah, so then it, as one would probably imagine, gained popularity during Prohibition because
I can see that.
It's 0.5%, so it's still tiny, and people would then also spike it with something often that you shouldn't be. But when the Volstead Act, which is what the actual name of the Prohibition Act came around, their sales again went up, and they referred to it as near beer.
I like that.
So that's what this
actually.
kind of category of drinks of that 0.5% ABV during Prohibition was often referred to as near beer.
Near beer.
Yeah, they couldn't legally just call it beer. So it was near beer. So, and during that time, like the big companies that were still around, like Anheuser-Busch was the most popular near beer at the time. It was called Bevo, Bevo.
Okay.
But Pabst made one. It was called Pablo. Miller made Vivo, and Schlitz made Famo. I don't know why the heck they all ended in O.
That's really weird.
Right. But in 1921, the market produced over 300 million gallons of near beer. So, like, this was huge. It wasn't, like, small. Obviously, when Prohibition was taken back, then it stopped being popular, and they went back to making beer that was beer. But for the first couple of years, they actually legally, it kind of inched back into alcoholic beverages because they had to produce low ABV beers at first. So it was, like, under 3%.
Oh.
And so they kind of, like, inched back up to a higher ABV.
Okay.
But during Prohibition, they made millions of barrels of near beer, or what we're drinking of non-alcoholic beers. So, yeah, I don't know. Kind of interesting. And again, like I was saying earlier, like the market projections are huge with this. Like they expect literally the market to double in the next few years for non-alcoholic beverages worldwide. But even still in the U.S., it's increased significantly in the last like handful of years.
That's
So
interesting. I will be interested to see where we're at in a few years when we do our next near beer part 2.
I like it. So yeah, so I learned a bit about non-alcoholic beers that I
That's good.
didn't know before, and this
I
one's-
learned something too.
right. This one
I'm
is
very
kinda
surprised
tasty.
to hear about how popular it is becoming, you know, in relation to how it has been. And not necessarily that it's a huge share of the market of beer drinkers, but that proportionately from a couple years ago to now,
Yeah, I was
the
like
growth
21%
is so
growth
big.
in just 2021 alone is huge.
Yeah.
Now I do think that the pandemic and people sitting on their butts and gaining weight, and a lot of not necessarily these, but a lot of the non-alcoholics actually don't have as many calories as regular beers
Sure.
and things like that. Also, I think there's a false feeling that this is better for you when I'm sure it's really not that much better for you.
I can't think of a way that this is better
So-
for me personally.
Yeah, well, fair. But yeah, I am super interested in, and a lot of what they said is a lot of this is word of mouth too, and it's social media and it's spreading, and some cultures that are frowned upon with drinking alcohol still have an alternative when they're out with friends and socializing and whatnot. And I think that push is actually a huge part of it. So, like I said, the Middle East and that kind of area is at least a third, if not more, of the market for non-alcoholic beverages. So
That's very interesting. You know, you mentioned earlier that in different states, the age for buying something like this may vary.
Yep.
I wonder what it is in Illinois, because if this place in Naperville really is opening,
yeah.
Naperville would be a great place for, you know, let's say older high school and early college.
Interesting. Yeah, that can't drink
That
but
aren't-
still want to hang out.
Yeah, it might be a cool concept for a place like, you know, Naperville's a pretty attractive place to be nearby.
Yeah.
If you're going to be around the Chicago area, it's a pretty popular western
Yeah,
suburb.
there's lots of things to do in restaurants and all kinds of stuff. and
Yes,
stuff,
it's got a lot of that already.
Yeah.
And there is like a couple colleges that aren't that far away, and
Yeah.
I could see the draw
Yeah, I
to
would
something
agree.
like that. Also, I think that, like you mentioned, restaurants, and there's a big restaurant and bar scene in the little like downtown Naperville area, and would be interesting to have them add that to their menu.
Yeah,
and have
that's
like
an
a
interesting
local
thing,
place
too.
supplying it.
I've
know?
never really thought about whether or not, and I honestly, I was not aware that non-alcoholic beer still had a 0.5
Right.
percent. So, Illinois Liquor Control Act does not apply to beverages with containing less than 0.5% alcohol. So
I guess you
minors
can-
are allowed to purchase and drink them.
Oh, well then I guess it is a good idea to open a non-alcoholic brewery in Naperville.
Yeah.
And maybe me and you should. Nope. Never mind.
No, we're not doing that.
Forget it.
But anyways,
I'm gonna
that's-
open a brewery. It's
that-
gonna be one that has beers that are like all above 15%.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
gonna be
gonna.
like the opposite.
It's like the high ABV beer.
Yeah.
place is
I'm
what
gonna
we're
be
going
like
for.
Midwest, the brewery.
Yeah. So it looks like the licensing act, the beer act or whatever it's called, specifically calls out something that has alcohol means beer, wine, cider, spirits, and other liquors over 0.5% ABV is what's
Wow,
governed
what
by that.
a coincidence.
Yeah, so it's super interesting. So there's that. There's a couple other major companies that still make it, like Heineken makes a
Right.
and that's pretty popular. That's one of the most popular across the world, which
Of
makes
course.
sense.
Yes.
But honestly, a lot of the other ones that are popular are smaller craft breweries, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
In Iceland, which beer wasn't legal until late compared to everywhere else, they were also had very popular non-alcoholic beverages, low alcoholic beverages, I guess. I don't know. But this one's pretty good. So let's see what else. What do we want to open next?
Let's open the next one and then start talking about our topic, which is
Yeah.
about as fun as drinking non-alcoholic beer. For me, because I'm.
Well, this one's exploding, and there's a lot of head to that. napkin.
I will grab one for you. Go ahead and
All
pour
right.
me a drink there.
Yeah. So this is Hellraiser Dark Amber from Well-Being out of St. Louis, and it exploded on me.
Yeah.
I'm making a mess.
Let me trade you there. Let me get my. Oh, I'm also making a mess.
Okay, let's just split this.
This is
there you
great.
go. All right. And you know what? We haven't really spilled actual beer, yet the non-alcoholic
Yeah,
beer
well,
is causing problems.
At least it's non-alcoholic.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't
we'll
have
go with
to.
that. That is a
be
giant
too
head on
sad.
this one. So,
Yeah, Lauren and I were kind of rationing glasses for this because we were like, oh, we have so many things to try. This glass is never going to be empty.
No,
the one
because
that
there's
I
so
just
much-
have here.
But look at all that head. It's like half the glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know, side note, I have a beer in my Keyser that is a little off when it comes to the carbonation because my pressure is a little too
Okay.
high and I don't want to lower the pressure because the other two kegs are like
Are
perfect.
perfect.
And so I have an IPA in my Keyser, and when you pour it, it's like every pint pours like this, where it's like 50% beer and 50% head, but it dissipates very,
Sure,
very
sure,
quickly. And so every time I pour one for somebody, I'm just like, don't worry, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, ignore the head. It's fine. So we're drinking the Hellraiser Dark Amber.
Dark amber.
Ooh, smell that. Holy cow, that's a heavy aroma.
It does. I don't want to make the wrong description. I get a little bit of a soapy smell.
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
I don't, just on the scent. I don't get it on the
Yeah.
flavor. To be honest with you, I think the flavor's kind of plain.
It is. It's a little bland.
It-
I was actually hoping that based off of the aroma that I
That it would
got,
be a
that
stronger
it would be
flavor?
a stronger flavor. Yeah.
If you handed this to me and you were like, here, have a beer. Let's assume that's what happens in all of these cases where we're drinking
Sure.
all of this.
Yeah,
Let's
we don't
assume that
know it's
that you don't know.
Yeah.
I would feel like this was bland. A little bland for a beer. Like a little plain.
For so much head it has, it's super flat.
Yeah.
To me.
Exactly.
Like-
it's all just, it's gone.
It's all in the head.
I don't know. It's fine.
It's fine. It tastes very flat.
Yeah, it is flat.
To me, it's not super interesting. The aroma at first felt a little earthy, and now you're right. Maybe it does.
I
have a little
maybe
bit more
something's
of a-
happening to me. I just get kind of a
Yeah.
soapy, like a cleaning chemical.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to drink that.
Smell.
But
Yeah, maybe it's what's striking me so odd that I have that, and then when I drink it, it doesn't taste like much.
It really doesn't taste like much.
Yeah.
That's a very apt description of this one. It
Yeah.
doesn't taste like much.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, to each
We
their own.
tried it,
I feel
though.
like, yeah, we gave it a shot. So
I like the ghost, the watermelon ghost.
I do
better
too. I would
so
totally
far.
drink that, but that's something that has a good flavor to it. The thing about the non-alcoholics is like you have to have a good flavor to make this worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so if it's not something that's tasty to drink, then there's like quite literally no point to you.
I'm trying to think what beer, alcoholic beer, I could compare this to. That would be sort of like if you really like this beer,
Well,
you might like this non-alcoholic.
Yeah,
and I
the
can't
thing,
really.
The thing about this one is it's not a real strong flavor. It's not even that ambery. Like it looks like it more than it tastes like
Yeah.
it, but it's not.
I can't put my finger on
Yeah.
the flavor.
It's
I
a
don't
weird
like
combo.
it. I'm not
That's
going to
fair.
drink more of this.
Again,
It's-
it tastes very flat.
I
to
never
me.
say that. I never say I don't like something.
No, that's fair.
It's just the problem with this episode and what we're discussing is that I can't say, oh, for what it's supposed to be, it's it matches
Yeah.
my expectations, even if it's not something I prefer. You know, when we drink like a vanilla
Right.
maple stout,
If you taste the
and
vanilla and the maple and you're like, I just don't love it, but it tastes like vanilla and maple, then
you're-
that's what I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'll tell you that it's not my preference, but that
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to do that with this stuff because
Yeah.
I have no basis for comparison.
Yeah, it's very flat to me. It doesn't really taste much like an amber. It's
don't know.
maybe it's I really do feel like it smells like plants to me. Like in a garden, but like an herb garden. Not
Okay.
like a flower garden. Like it,
Okay. Yeah, no,
that's why
I'm
I
not
feel like it
getting a
tastes-
floral.
it smells
smell.
earthy to me in
Okay.
some capacity, but the taste is nothing like an amber beer that I've had, so I can't
Fair.
compare it.
Very
so
good.
anyways, but we still have two more and we'll evaluate
We'll
them
get there.
appropriately.
Yeah.
So,
let's
moving on to our topic.
Like I said, let's talk about something that I enjoyed almost as much as I am enjoying this near beer.
Yes, near
I
beer.
think that's great. I love that.
Yes.
I'm going to come up with an episode title that's sort of like that, but isn't that. We're going to put that in our brains.
Got it. All right, we'll
And
think
you
about
guys know now that that's what we did, and we'll see what we come up with, and you guys can tell us what
Evaluate.
you would have come up with.
it. Good call. Good call. So we're going to talk about pregnancy.
Ugh. Yep. Pregnancy. Thankfully, that is not why we're drinking non-alcoholic beer.
No,
Neither
no,
one
I'm
of
done.
us is pregnant.
No,
Oh my
or,
goodness.
Or are going to be.
No.
So that is not in
Not-
my future.
Not in my future, friends.
No, we've both been pregnant twice, and that is enough.
Two
So-
times was plenty.
Yes.
I will get into more about that at the end of our conversation. But for the beginning, I will say that I know we've talked about the birth stories. I know
Yes.
we've had a birth story episode,
yeah.
so I'm not going to really talk about that at all.
No.
I will say, and I think I've said this before, I didn't have trouble getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
That was not something, and I'm very grateful because I can be honest and say at this point, if I had had a hard time and I had had to go through extraordinary measures
Mm-hmm.
to become pregnant, I don't know where I would be today.
I don't know
in
how
regards
much
to
I would
that.
have done. Yeah, that's Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to tell you how many children I would have right now
Mm-hmm.
if I had to go above and beyond, and that years had gone by and things like that, because I know what kind of person I am.
No, that's fair.
And I know that, like, I'm an anxious person, and I know that I keep myself up at night worrying about things, and I think that if this were in the equation, it would be very hard for me.
It would be a struggle, yeah. That's fair.
To add it on top of whatever else I was dealing with at that point in my life.
Yeah.
So I can't say. And I'm glad that I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, agreed. We didn't purposely have 2 pregnancies, so we did not have any trouble.
No trouble there.
Getting to that point. My parents did, so I am adopted, and they could not have children, so they adopted me and my brother. At the time, though, I don't think that there was nearly the technology that there is now, even as options for them.
The level of intervention, if you will,
so it was
is
a
not
very
the same.
different, just a very different environment, in the 80s or late 70s, early 80s. To be in that situation. So totally different world.
Well, and even my parents had my brother, who is 6 years older than me, and were told that they weren't going to be able to have any more kids. And then I'm a miracle. 6 years later is a miracle, you guys.
That's true.
You can argue with me all you want, but I will stand by that statement. No one saw this coming.
Again, similarly,
maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe they were still trying to have kids. I would guess so.
They were clearly not actively not trying.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And so, hey, thanks about that.
Cool. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, we were, I do get the question, were we trying to have kids? Because we have twins, and a lot of people nowadays that have twins have twins because they went through in vitro, or they did something in terms of, and that was not us. This is all natural, just that's what happened. That's luck of the draw.
The dice that you rolled, and 2 came up.
Exactly. So that was 100% natural, and we didn't do anything in particular to have them. That's what was meant to be, I guess. That's what happened. So
what was supposed to happen to you.
Yes, clearly. But we I was gonna just say a couple of statistics, but in the last 30 years now. So since 1990, there were 16.7 births per 1,000 people in the U.S.
Okay.
And as of 2020, it dropped significantly. So there's 11.
Wow.
Yeah. So the numbers are going down in terms of the number of babies being born, the number of pregnancies that are happening.
Per 1,000 people.
Yes, per 1,000 people. But that's still a significant, statistically significant in terms of how many less people there are. Now, I will say that there are many more multiple births. So in 1980, there were 19 out of every 1,000 births were multiples, so twins or triplets.
Okay.
In 2020, there were 32.7, so almost 33 out of 1,000 births were multiples. So that's probably a chunk of them are in vitro or something like that. But there's also in vitro is like 1% or not even. It's a very small percentage of live births.
Yeah.
So most of them are still not, in some sort of technological help. So lots more multiples being born these days for whatever reason.
Interesting. I wonder if it has to do with how many kids your parents had versus, and then yourself. So, for example, maybe like only children, who statistically maybe aren't as prone to having multiples because they were singletons, maybe just aren't giving birth to multiples.
Oh. Yeah,
I don't know. That seems like a weird thought. Now that I've said it out loud.
Honestly, a lot of it's so many factors that we really just don't know. So
Absolutely.
Our food, our environment, our everything nowadays.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
We have no clue. Also, I would say that mine was not, but a lot of multiple births are more difficult. And so often one of them is lost during pregnancy.
Right.
So it winds up being a multiple pregnancy, but not a multiple birth. So nowadays, the technology and the medical care and all of that is significantly more than it was even 20 years ago.
Oh,
so,
sure.
you know, there's some
That
people
makes
that didn't know
sense.
they were having two until they had the babies because ultrasounds all the time weren't as common and
Right.
all of those things. So, you know, the fact that there's more multiple births happening now could just be part of that is medical technology is improved. You know, the
Yeah.
people are carrying multiples longer than
Yeah.
potentially they used
That
to.
Makes way more sense than my weird only children theory.
Yeah, who knows? But I'm just saying that's a theory. So, but I thought that was interesting. You know, I looked up things that were in my kind of wheelhouse. The other thing that is increased in terms of successful live births is 32% of births in 2020 were C-section.
Okay.
So that's a big chunk, and there's
That's
always
a lot,
controversy of, you know, if it's a real birth versus not. 32% of births are C-section. That's a lot. Like that's,
a pretty big
chunk.
That's
of
a pretty big chunk to
people.
not be real, you guys.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
So-
you know, I did not have a C-section with either kid, and I'm super glad that I didn't because nobody really wants
No.
to.
I mean,
there
with,
are medical
with the twins,
reasons.
I was like, no, they're cutting.
Yeah,
them
no,
out.
I
But
respect
yeah.
that 100%. But it's not like you made.
You
that-
don't go into it in your first
Hoping for
pregnancy saying, I'd like to have major surgery today. Like, cut
Yes.
me open and
Yeah,
sew me
exactly.
back up so I have to move all my parts around and figure it out.
And
but
yeah, and suffer through the recovery
yeah,
process
nobody
while also caring for a new
really
person.
wants to do that.
Yeah.
So, one other fun fact: the highest average twin births is what state? Pick a state. What do you think the highest, most common state for multiple births is?
California.
Michigan. I have no idea why. It's not even that big of a state. The highest average twin, specifically twin births, is in Michigan.
See, I guessed California because, again, and you said it was a small percentage of pregnancies, but I guess I just assumed there was more
Yeah.
in vitro and things like that
I
out
would,
there.
yeah, fair. But yeah, no, Michigan. Yeah, super random.
Michigan.
Totally random fact.
What?
I have no idea. But
I did not see that.
yeah, I thought it was entertaining.
That's very
So-
interesting. I love it. These fun facts are great.
right? So,
Which is awesome because like my feelings about pregnancy are not great. So it balances out all the negative stuff
that's
I'm
good.
about to say.
Good. Yeah. No, I did. Some women like love being pregnant and feel like they're glowing, and I was just like, I'm tired. My feet hurt. I want to get this baby out of me.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that glow or anything like that. In fact, I remember my mother telling me that if you're pregnant with a boy, you look better.
Yeah,
While
because they
you're-
say the girl takes your like
Your beauty or whatever.
Yeah, clearly that's
and
not how this
she
works.
would say it
though,
to
so.
me, you know, before I would find out the gender, and I would just be like, well, then I'm definitely having a girl because I feel not good, and I know it is coming out visually in my appearance
Well.
because I am just straight up miserable in the face.
In everywhere,
all
in
the
every way,
time.
shape, or form. So clearly, that old wives' tale is not.
She was wrong.
Accurate.
Because, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
She was wrong because I had two boys, and I
Yes.
still looked horrible. So, yeah. But I was not a fan of being pregnant. I sat and I thought about, you know, a positive. I tried to think of, it's like your husband when we were talking about the upsides of COVID.
Yeah.
And he was like, nothing.
There's
It's the
none.
worst.
I
Everything
know.
has been the worst day of
Pretty
my life.
much, yeah. I'm like, come on, negative Nelly. Yeah.
And I unfortunately,
you're at.
I really couldn't, you know, go away from that. I didn't like being pregnant. I've said it before. I'm gonna say it again because I'm never gonna stop saying it. I was nauseous throughout both of my pregnancies, pretty much the entire time.
Ugh, yeah, that's
I
miserable.
puked twice during my first child's birth.
Ugh.
So I can't say I felt better until he was literally
Literally out.
out of me. I felt a lot better after that. To be
Yes.
honest, I actually felt pretty good, which I
Yeah.
thought was weird.
Yeah.
And the nurses said it was weird.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I feel pretty good right now. And they were just sort of like, that's a really weird thing to say. And I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's true, so I don't know what to tell you about that.
Yeah, well, that's how I feel. I had, and the rest of it was more actually with my second child. It seemed like some of the other pregnancy symptoms that I had were worse with him, other than the nausea. So I think I had worse nausea with my first.
Okay.
But then I had like brutal heartburn
Ooh.
with my second.
Did he have a lot of hair? They say if they have a lot of hair.
No, my first child had way more hair than
I don't know.
my little
all these
one.
we're just breaking these old wives' tales
I know,
here.
right?
Yeah.
I had a lot of hip pain, like soreness. If I slept on my side for too many hours in the span of a night, I would wake up and just be in horrible pain and have to like try to turn over and lay on the other side.
Reposition. Yeah.
And it was just like, it was bad. Like
I wound up
pain.
sleeping in the recliner a number of times. Towards the end.
Yeah, I did not do that. I do think I would have benefited from that. It's because I didn't have a recliner at that time.
It was I definitely slept in the recliner towards the end
I
because
think that probably
I was
would have
just
helped.
not comfortable. I think I had less heartburn when I wasn't laying down.
Oh, yes.
So sitting up helped. Here's just some tips for pregnant ladies.
This is good.
I did buy one of those weird body pillow things to
that helped me.
help prop me in the right not painful positions. So when I did sleep in bed, I did use that giant
that helped
thing.
me as well.
Yeah.
Although I was sharing a queen bed with my husband plus the body pillow, which was basically like another human being
totally.
in the bed.
It's huge. Yeah.
So that was not great.
Not super comfortable. Yeah.
I did also, since we're giving helpful hints.
Sure, why not?
I did, and I might be wrong about this specifically, but you would be able to look it up. There is a certain side that you are to lay on that helps with heartburn because of where your stomach is at versus where your esophagus is, because your stomach's like on one side.
Okay.
I think if you lay on your left side, your organs are in like a better line.
Huh.
And I 100% know that is true because it worked for me.
Okay.
If I was having really bad heartburn and I rolled to that side, it would get better.
Oh, that's good.
So it definitely
Wonder
helps.
if that helps in regular life. Now that
yes,
I'm getting
it
older,
does, 'cause
I feel like
yes, it
once in a
does.
while I'm like, oh,
It's
a
not
bad
just
decision.
a pregnancy thing.
All right. Okay.
So yes, I believe that.
All right.
I think that when you're pregnant, it might be
More
more
significant.
helpful because
Yeah.
I think also
the baby is also
on
there.
you.
Yeah.
But yes, I think that one side is better for your organs
Okay.
with heartburn.
No, I believe that.
Yeah.
And get a recliner. I
And
highly
maybe get a
recommend the
recliner, and maybe one of those. Mine was called a snoogle.
Yep, I had
the
the same
pillow.
thing. Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but
It's
that's exactly
obnoxiously
what it was.
large, and
Dude,
it's
it's
impossible to get somebody to take it. After
Yeah,
you
nobody
don't need
wants it after you're done. Like literally nobody.
And it takes up more space than like.
Yeah, it's
The
huge.
car
It would
seat.
take like half a garbage can, like a big one. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
I did end up giving it to someone, I think.
I have no idea what I ever did with
I don't know.
it, but it was.
It was in my closet
gigantic.
forever.
Yeah, but it was worthwhile at the time.
Absolutely. I don't regret having it. I'm
No.
just saying I regret not getting rid of it faster.
Yes, fair.
The one other thing I will say that is nobody's fault, and it's just kind of a coincidence, but when I was pregnant with my second son, he was born at the end of February of that year. And between, let's say, New Year's Day and the day of his birth, the snow just kept falling. There was like never a break. We would have time where it wasn't snowing, but the snow would never melt, and it just kept
So
stacking.
much snow. Yeah.
And so I remember going to doctor's appointments when it was getting close to my due date, and you have to go like every week.
Yep.
And like almost killing myself on the
Just
ice.
trying, to get.
And there never being a close parking spot. And I actually did more than just risk my physical well-being at one appointment. I was walking back to my car, and this guy pulls up next to me, and he goes, "Are you leaving?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Where are you parked?" Because he wants my parking spot because there's no parking
There's
spot.
no parking, right?
And I go, "Oh man, I'm all the way in the back." And he says, "Get in. I'll give you a ride to your car." And I immediately got in his car.
So you could have been killed at this
I
point.
mean,
like possible.
kidnapping
Yeah, some
a
sort
woman
of.
who's 9 months pregnant. That sounds more like his problem than my problem. That's a lot to take on. Okay? There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay? He did not kidnap me.
Clearly.
He did he drove a very nice car. Not to say the kidnappers don't drive nice cars.
Yeah.
He did have it was like, I would have called it a doctor car.
Okay, so in your assessment, you were like, well, the odds.
In the 10 seconds I considered in the freezing cold
Yeah.
whether or not a stranger should drive me to my car, I assessed his vehicle and decided it was worth it.
Okay.
And
fair.
he dropped me off at my car, and I got out of the
and
spot,
he-
and he took the spot. So everything was on the up and up the
It
whole
all
time.
worked out.
But I did retell that story to family and friends, and nobody supported my decision.
I mean, if I was in that position, I feel like there's a good chance I probably would have done the same thing.
I will admit, I
Like-
probably made the wrong choice
But
from like
I
a
mean,
let's be smart about things
Sure,
perspective.
it
But
all works out in the end, though.
I
so.
would have. What if I fell down and got hurt?
Yeah.
Then where would we be?
Yeah,
You know?
no.
Then I would have had to go back into the hospital.
Nobody wants that.
I could barely make it to my car.
Right, yeah. I will say that my pregnancies were at the same freaking time because my kids are all born one day apart.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to go through. I mean, I was technically pregnant in winter, but not like really
Like, super
pregnant.
pregnant, right.
Like I found out we were having twins in October, and I wasn't showing at all. I was only
Right.
like 8 weeks or something. So like I didn't get big and uncomfortable until
Kind of the end of
after,
winter. Yeah.
after the giant snowstorms.
Right.
that we
Same
had.
year. Same year.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, well, I will say that here we go, silver lining. I came up with one, you guys.
All right.
This is on the
Woo!
fly, too.
All
This is
right.
not written down. I was not pregnant over the summer, ever.
I feel like that would be horrible.
Oh, goodness,
So
yes.
horrible.
My son, who was born in February, obviously, I got pregnant.
Yes.
And
yes.
was pregnant
But
for
not
a little bit of
to
summer.
like me, not to the point where it
But-
was,
No, but not
uncomfortable
like
in the summer.
I'm holding an extra 30 or 40
Oh,
pounds,
if I
and
was,
I'm...
like, if I had a baby in August, I feel like that would be horrible. Because
See, that's
you're-
my thought. Like,
Right?
that is something I didn't necessarily give that a lot of thought
I didn't
when
plan for it.
when
yeah.
we were getting pregnant,
but in hindsight, that would
not
have been way worse.
I mean, my son was born, my first child was born the first week of June,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember when we took him home from the hospital, he had a blanket on.
Oh, yeah.
And I was wearing a jacket.
Yeah,
Because
so-
it was still cool. And
Yeah.
it's funny because we've talked about this many times since was born, how his birthday party is never very warm out.
True.
Because it's early in June
Yeah.
and it's always like kind of spring weather.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, no. So I've never really even had a whole lot of hot. I mean, maybe early in that pregnancy, in like September of
Yeah,
that,
but
where I
that's,
was like a little bit pregnant.
Periodic.
Like a tiny
hot.
bit.
Yeah, but barely. Not enough to make it totally
Right.
uncomfortable. Yeah, I feel bad for those women in the middle of summer that I see like really pregnant. I'm like,
Like-
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't have to go through that. But I
No.
will say I was ridiculously large with the twins because, well, they were twins.
You had twins, yeah.
and they were
no.
both big. I mean, like,
Right.
they weren't even little when they were born. Like, one was 6 pounds 13 ounces, 1 pound was 6 pounds 8 ounces.
Yeah,
so
that's
like
pretty serious.
they were giant. But I was still. I will say, all right, another like, here's my few just suggestions. Here's
suggestions, I like
my
it.
suggestions when I was pregnant. Buy comfortable shoes. Like,
Yes.
just buy them. Who cares
then-
if your feet are 2 sizes bigger than normal? Just buy whatever's coming. Don't even look.
I
Like,
was about to
literally,
say,
don't
and
even
don't
look.
hesitaate to buy them like at least a half size
Yeah,
larger than
yeah.
what you normally wear.
Whatever's literally don't even look the size. Just put something on, and if it's comfortable, buy them. Like,
Yes, I remember
Yeah.
the work shoes I wore during my first pregnancy, and they fit me perfectly
Right.
while I was pregnant. They were way too big.
after, but that's okay.
They were so comfortable.
All that matters
they were
is
like
at the time.
slip-ons.
And that even goes for clothes, too, because some women are like, oh, it needs to be cute. But no, most of your pregnancy, be comfortable. I get if you're going to go somewhere, like, you want to be cute. Be comfortable the vast majority of the time.
Yeah,
Like,
I
don't-
100% agree. I
Nobody
was very
cares.
lucky. My brother's wife was like just finishing up having kids
Oh, okay.
when I got pregnant with my first child, and she just like handed me this huge
Nice.
bag of
Yeah.
maternity clothes, and they were very nice.
Oh, I'm sure.
She's much shorter than me.
Yeah,
But we were very close to the
Yeah,
same size,
yeah.
so most of it, and maternity clothes are kind of flexible anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
So like if you wear a 6, you can wear a 4 or an 8 or a 10 or
yeah,
like,
you could really.
know.
It's pretty flexible.
So
yeah.
like whatever size it says on the maternity dress, it's like
yeah.
it could be a small or a medium or a large.
Yeah, and
Could be
honestly,
anything.
same for that. Like, if it fits you, don't look at what size it is. Just buy it.
Buy it.
When you're
I
pregnant,
did that with a pair of maternity
literally,
jeans.
yeah. Don't
I don't
even
regret that at
worry
all.
about any of that. None of that matters. Just be comfortable when you're pregnant. Also, always carry water and a snack with you. And even if you think that you don't want a snack, you probably do. Like, sometimes nausea is caused by your body needs something to
Yes,
settle it.
eating was actually the only thing that really helped me
Yeah,
most
a
of the
lot
time.
a lot of pregnant women say, like, it seems counterintuitive to eat something when you're nauseous, but it actually helps.
Yeah, I will say that I messed my brain up so much while I was pregnant, thinking that I always should be snacking on something. I would even, when I would drive to work, I would chew gum.
Just to have,
Just because
yeah.
my brain was like, you're eating. And
Yeah.
I would just be chewing gum, which is a weird habit to take on when you're like
Yeah.
pregnant, but I would just, it kept me from throwing up
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
car on the
yeah.
highway.
Which whatever works at that
So
point.
now, ever since I was pregnant, every once in a while, if I get sick to
Yeah.
my stomach, my brain is like,
I need to
maybe
chew
you
on
should
something.
eat something.
Yeah. It
And
doesn't really work the
literally,
same when you're
no.
not pregnant.
Literally every human being
Yeah.
is just like, I don't think that you should eat that. And I'll be like, no.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, this is going to make me feel I'm going to eat this little tiny bowl of pickles right now. And they're just like, yeah, you're going to feel bad about that.
But if you're pregnant, maybe not. But
Yeah.
normal people, yeah. Yeah. So, all right, let's drink this other one. 'cause
Let's
we have
drink
two more.
IPNA.
Yeah, so this is
from
the Lagunitas. It's hoppy. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's...
I can't put my finger on what I don't like about this. I'm sorry.
This one has a weird taste to it.
It has a weird smell, and it has the exact same weird taste. I can't...
It's
I don't know what that is. It's like a... I don't know. I don't want to use a word to describe it. I feel like whatever word I would pick would be extremely unflattering. It's not as bad as I'm making it sound.
but it's not good.
I don't like it. I don't. I like it less.
either.
I like it less than the amber. Ugh.
It's a stronger flavor, but not a good stronger flavor.
Yeah, it's
It's got a bite at the front, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
Nothing
what is
follows it.
that?
So it's like it's got this weird upfront taste,
yeah,
and then at the end it's bland. So then it doesn't like it's high and then low, and there's nothing in between.
I wanted to like it because I could tell it was more carbonated
Mhm.
than
It
the
is.
amber.
It's not as flat, but it's not.
But
this,
I am-
You know what this tastes like? It tastes like a seltzer.
It tastes like a seltzer.
It does. It kind of does.
Oh my! I gotta drink one more tiny
It
sip.
kind of does.
Is that what that smell is?
Try it again and think back. Think back. It kind of tastes
Ooh.
like radio static, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of tastes like
It
a
tastes
seltzer.
like. You know what? What baffled me about seltzer is they would tell you it was, let's say, mango.
It's a flavorless seltzer is what it is.
Yeah, they would tell you that it was mango.
Right.
And you would taste it and you would be like, if you didn't tell me there was mango in this, I wouldn't be able to pinpoint that it's mango.
Right.
And like this is exactly like that. Like you're telling me this is an IPA flavored, let's use the word seltzer. And I'm kind of like,
But it's like a flavorless seltzer. It just has the carbonation and the weird
yeah.
taste.
You know how like this is exactly, you're right. You know how when you go to like McDonald's and the proportion isn't right?
Oh,
McDonald's is
yeah.
a bad example because McDonald's is always perfect, but
Right.
let's say
No, you go to some and you get a fountain drink.
and the
and
proportion, there's
the
like no
proportion
syrup
of
in it at all.
Syrup to carbonation is off and it just tastes weird.
And it's just this.
That's what this is.
And that's a horrible description, but it's
But that's
very
kind of
close.
what it tastes like.
It's very close.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yikes.
All right, we
I'm
have to
so
try
sorry.
this other one
I'm
because
so sorry.
I need to
gotta
try
drink a little
something.
bit of water, and
And we're
let's
just gonna
drink
give
that.
this
I have
shot.
1 or 2 more thoughts on.
That's fine, but I just
pregnancy.
need something to cleanse my palate at this point. All right, this is S'mores Dark Brew.
So
we
this is
shall see.
Untitled Art as well, you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
So Lauren and I both got beers for this both got drinks for this episode.
Beverages. We got beverages.
And I
we each
supplied
got a
this
Untitled
one.
Art. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Lauren did 3. Well, she did more than that. We're only drinking 3.
Yeah, this is all
and
I
I
can
did
take for-
1. I did have another one as well, but it was also Untitled Art, so I didn't want to.
Okay.
We didn't need to do that.
That's fair. All right, I'm gonna
So
try this.
let's smell it. Oh, it smells like s'mores.
It does.
So I mean, we're going the right way.
It tastes like s'mores. It tastes like s'mores.
This is pretty
tastes
good.
Fine.
Untitled Art, man. All right. I'm going to
I
let you
can get
guys
behind
have
this
this.
one. Yeah, this tastes fine. Like it's not. Obviously, it's not an alcohol-y taste, but as a flavor,
I mean,
it tastes like s'mores.
I got chocolate. I've got marshmallow.
Yeah.
I've got that graham cracker.
Yeah, it's got all of the flavors
got
I would
everything.
expect.
This is
I could
pretty
sit
good.
by a campfire and drink this and be fine.
Yeah.
Like, this
It could-
is fine.
Obviously, we started recording almost an hour ago. It could be a little bit colder.
Sure.
And I don't usually say that about an actual stout.
Yeah, sure.
This could just be
This
a
could be a
little
little
bit
colder,
colder.
yeah.
So I could see drinking this on like a warm night.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
hot or cold, but like a warm night
Yeah.
where it's a little cooler. The beer is a little cooler.
But this I could drink. This
Yes.
is better than the last two. So
Yeah.
this I'm okay
That
with.
was a journey.
Yes. All right.
That I
We're-
will say.
We've come full circle. All right. Let's
So,
finish our thoughts.
Final thoughts on pregnancy. I will echo something that you already talked about, which was maternity clothes, which in general I did not love because a lot of them were for the purpose of showing off the fact that you were pregnant, which was not a thing I was big
Yeah, I
on.
wasn't big on that either.
I did have a couple of, I guess you could say, like shirts that were like tighter.
Sure. Yeah, they're
rather
form
than
fitting.
like a billowy shirt.
Yes.
That I would wear to work, especially if it was warm outside
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, that would be more comfortable.
Sure.
So like maybe towards the end of my pregnancy with my first, where he was born in June, maybe
Mm-hmm.
there were some warmer days. I do remember wearing like capris and,
Sure. Yeah.
you know, and honestly, maybe even with my second child when we went to New Orleans.
Oh yeah. Oh,
where
we were
I
both
was
pregnant in New Orleans.
Yes, where I was at least a few months along at that point.
Yeah.
Where I probably wore
Yes.
maybe a tighter shirt or something like that.
I wore capris, and well,
It
that's a whole different
was
story. But
judgment was cast down upon you. It was
Yes.
also cast down upon me. Capris were not welcome on that trip, but not by you or me.
no, I
We were
forgot
cool.
we were both pregnant on that trip.
I didn't
Yeah.
because I remember my
yeah.
grape
Yeah. Whatever that
sparkling
was.
whatever thing
Yeah.
like falling into the street of New Orleans and getting weird gross New Orleans gunk all over it, and I was just
Yeah.
like, that was my fake drink.
Yeah.
Now I have to drink water
Mm-hmm.
and a sip of wine at the reception.
Yep. Anyways, yes.
So yeah, maternity clothes, not my favorite. My least favorite thing about them was when I did have to dress up.
Oh yeah.
So like that wedding was very hard for me
Yeah.
because I do like dressing up on occasion, and I kind of hated not really getting to wear something I would have liked
wouldn't
a bit
have
more.
picked, right?
Yeah, I ended up wearing the dress I wore when I was a bridesmaid during my first pregnancy.
Got it.
And it was a nice dress. It was just
It
not.
wasn't what you would have picked. If
I
you
didn't like it. It
had a
wasn't flattering.
choice.
Yeah. So that was kind of a bummer. And the other thing I would say is that I feel like baby showers are really awkward.
I don't like being the center of attention, so I don't
Yeah.
really enjoy showers.
I
so.
find it, especially, and I know like we don't really do this at birthday parties for our kids anymore, which I absolutely love, but you don't open gifts in front
We
of
don't.
everybody.
We don't.
No.
Some people still do. My kids have been to even just friends' parties.
Yeah. No, mine
that they
too.
open all of the gifts before everyone leaves.
Yeah.
We do not do that in our family.
No,
at
we
all.
don't. We don't do that either.
And honestly, I don't think that my kids want to spend their time with their friends opening their presents.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. Totally.
yeah. And I also don't. really care what you get for your baby. Like, if I'm attending, I don't care when you open my present.
No, I don't either.
Like, you can open it on your couch at home. Doesn't bother me.
Not at all.
I don't need to see it.
I just find the whole situation awkward because you're like thanking people for buying you baby stuff, but it's not for you. It's for the baby, sort of. I don't know. It just like,
And that's the whole reason you're there anyways, so, like, it's understood.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I have been to a couple baby showers recently and bridal showers that you don't wrap the gift and they just display them. So if you want to walk around, you can just look
Oh.
to see what people got. And so you literally just, like, put it in a basket and they have a table set up.
I like that.
And then nobody opens anything. But if you want to see what people are giving, you just walk around and there's the stuff.
I love it.
I prefer that to sitting for a while and staring at someone opening a bunch of presents.
I love that because I am extremely good at not having appropriate wrapping paper. And not that I have inappropriate
Sure,
wrapping paper
but you
because
just-
I'm not that person either. I just don't have any.
Yes.
So like, and I as a December birthday feel very strongly about not wrapping birthday presents in Christmas paper.
I don't. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I have to have birthday paper / at least something neutral if I'm gonna wrap a gift, and I'm not great about that.
Gotcha.
I have the box full of gift bags.
Yep. Oh, I have a bag full of bags.
I
Yep.
hate to say it, but there's probably a fair number of baby shower bags in there
I might
because
still have some.
I've probably
possible.
received more than I've given.
I would believe that for me
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And they're all boy too. I mean, of course, but
yeah.
yeah.
We did have a sprinkle, which was not very many people when we had the twins. It is what it is. I have it. I don't have it. I don't care. But we did get some additional things because we had one child, but then we had 2 children.
I feel like that
so.
is, and since we're that's sort of relevant to what we're talking about, I feel like that's an appropriate time to do a sprinkle, is when you're adding more than one child at the same time, and one of them is also of a different gender.
Yes, completely different. So
And
we had a
you-
bunch of boy things. We had no girl things.
Right.
And also, we only had one bouncer and one car seat and
Yeah,
all those
right?
things. Like, you got to double it now. So, but
Yeah.
anyways, all right. I'm going to continue drinking. Actually, the s'mores isn't bad. I can get behind this.
tolerate this.
It isn't horrible. The 2 Untitled Arts win in my book for this round of beverage drinking. So
Yeah, it's acceptable.
yeah, if you are choosing to go to the non-alcoholic route and they're an option, they're an okay one. That's my
I
take
agree.
on this.
I would go with Untitled Art. That
So.
would be a good way to go.
All right, near beer it is.
Near beer.
All right.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for listening to the latest musings from Parenting by the Pint.
Be sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcasts.
Have a great week and cheers to you all.